Hi, this is Dave Possessed Boy, which is known as Dave Coaster Dude. I got another story time. The story time that we're going to be doing is called The Worst Whooping I Had When I Was a Child. Oh my God. If you're new to this channel, just pause this video. Just take a minute to, go under Dave Coaster Dude. Just hit the subscribe button and ring that bell. Smash that bell and comment and like. And smash that bell. Alright. The first time when I got a butt whooping this is when I was 2 years old. When I was younger, because I thought this was a transformation. Like, I used to put stuff in the VCR. I stuck some toys in there in the morning. That morning, I remember, this happens like 32 years ago, almost. I stuck some toys in the VCR, some hair rollers, stuffing from pillow, cookies, pennies, refrigerator magnets, hairbrush, hair comb, and clothespin in the VCR. I thought that stuff was going to be on TV. After I stick all that stuff in there. I thought it was like transformations, like on Star Wars. I thought it was. Because we used to have a floor TV. One of those floor TVs, on the floor, like from the 80s. With the antenna and VHS tape. Because it was no DVDs, wasn't invented yet. Just those 80s. In the 80s and 90s kind of time. Yeah, I was little. I was like 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. I decided I'd bite the half of the cookie, and then I stick the other half, one of them strawberry Philly cream cookies and stuff. Then at night, like, oh my gosh. What happened here is, yeah, oh my gosh. My mama found out, says, "What's all this stuff in the VCR?" They said, "H, no. You wouldn't do something like that." Then mama, she got so upset with me. So she started wanting to whip me and look at the VCR. She said, "What stuff in there?" So she grabbed a belt. Grab a belt and then pow, pow, pow. I said, "How many times do I have to tell you, don't you ever stick nothing in the VCR? You hear me? Hear me? Hear me? Hear me? Don't you ever stick nothing in the VCR?" And then she set me down, and then she had to pull everything out of that VCR, whatever I had stuck in there. Because I didn't know no better. Yeah, because this is like back in the 80s. When they had those old-fashioned discipline back those. But now in them days, it's abuse now. Yeah. But some folks still do it, too. So, and then she come with me again. Grab that belt. And then she go, pow, how many times I tell you ever stick in the VCR? And I was hiding behind my father. My father said, "Get away from me." And then she grabbed me like this and pow, how many times I have to tell you, don't you ever put nothing in that VCR. You hear me? Hear me? Hear me? Woo! I remember I was crying. Whoo! I was crying. Oh man, now that's the worst whooping number one. The worst whooping number two I had is, this is a story. This is so embarrassing. Yeah, because I was not ready for this. Like, this is when I was like maybe 2 or 3 years old, that potty train. Yeah, when I used to poop all over myself. Yeah, mama got so mad. My folks got so mad at me because they want me to go potty train at, child from ages 3. But I was potty trained until I was 4. So anyway, man, it was so embarrassing because I did not want to go use the toilet because I was scared of the toilet. Going to the toilet until next thing I know, man, because I had on the underwear on, and next thing I know, that's the embarrassing gas. And then my mom, she got so upset, so she had to, like, kill me. She says, "You supposed to go in that potty chair." Because it was one of them wood potty chairs. At that time with wood in there and all. Man, oh my gosh. She had to grab that belt here. Like, she grabbed that belt and she said, "Why did you do that? Don't you ever do that again. Why don't you go use the bathroom yourself? Go use the bathroom. You're not getting in that diaper. You hear me? Hear me? Hear me?" But it was an accident. I said, Hammy, because, I didn't know no better when I was 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old. So grab that bag, go pow, pow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, pow, pow, for reals. Mm-hmm. That was the worst whooping ever. And then she grabbed that plastic hose. Yeah, I remember that. That gray hose that hook up to the toilet and make that sound go. Man, that was horrible. Real, after that whooping, man, I was screaming and crying on top of my lungs. Whew. That's the worst whooping number 2. Worst whooping number 3 is, this is when I was younger. I was like, maybe has to be 2 or 3 years old. I was 3 years old. Right? This is back in 1988. Excuse me. Sorry I burped. My mama was in the kitchen rolling up pennies while I was in the living room. And I see it was a shiny penny on the floor. I picked that up and I went near that outlet. Because it wasn't plugged all the way in. It was one of those 3-prong extension cords. It was a blue one. One is plugged on the wall and it has those 3 prongs that you plug in. One was the TV and the other one was the VCR. Yeah, and one of them wasn't plugged all the way in. So I picked up the penny and then went near the outlet because I thought that penny was going to be on television. Don't you know, like one of those ejector slides at school? Like, I don't know if you remember those, but I remember those. When you put the ejector and you see some words on the wall and stuff I thought it was be a big penny which is going to be showed up on there if I stick it in there. Man, I picked that penny up, went near the outlet, man, oh my gosh. It went zap when I stick it in there. But I didn't get shocked. It scared my mama out in the kitchen. She run near me with an outlet and then she looked at you, why would you put that penny in the socket? Huh? Why? So she went in there, grabbed that hose, that plastic hose, and she grabbed me and she go. That's what that sound like. Go pow, 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 pow. Don't you ever put no penny in a socket. You hear me? Hear me? Don't you ever put no penny in a socket. Get in here. You know better than that. This house could get cut on fire. You could get electrocuted. You could strike on fire. Don't you dare ever put no penny in a socket. You hear me? Hear me? Man, I was crying, screaming on top of my lungs. So anyway, after that whooping, so what she do is she went near the outlet and she said, you know better. Next time, do not stick it there. You better listen to me. You better be. So as she because she unplugged the outlet, took the penny out and plugged it back in, the TV went right back on. Man, I was crying on top of my lungs until when my daddy had showed home, and then my mama showed that penny to my father. What I did, he was shocked about that, but he didn't whoop me. He said, I'm going to take you over to my auntie's house, my father's sister, when they used to live up here, up here in East Cleveland at the time. Mm-hmm. And then I remember my auntie said, come here so I could talk to you. And I didn't come to her. I remember that time. All right? That's the worst whooping number 2. Or was it number 3? All right. Worst whooping number 4 is, this is a time that when I was like 5 years old, because I was in kindergarten. Because I was in Catholic school in kindergarten, but it happens at home. What happened is, saw a cigarette lighter because, my parents smoked at that time. I picked up a cigarette lighter. I think it was in my mama's bedroom here. So I picked it up, I struck it with one strike, and then she got upset with me, said, why would you do that, messing with the cigarette lighters? You know better than that. So she picked up that switch. It was the long switch, switch from the tree branch. Because, some southern folks get whippings with those. Man, my mama, she tore me up. Big time. I remember I was crying, because that's what hurt. So I was like, and made me go in the living room and have a seat. Man, I was crying, screaming on top of my lungs. until she come in for, to give another dose of the whooping that I should not been doing. But she go whack, 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 and she tore me up again. So, man, that was the worst whooping ever. Is those backyard switches. Oh, man, gosh. Man. Oh my gosh. Man, it was horrible. Alright? Also, worst whooping number 5 is, this is a time that when we was at home, right? Because about that microwave. Because we had a big microwave at that time. One of them carousel microwaves. And man, she bought my foot because I didn't scratch the microwave, man. And then my mom looked at it and says, "Why did you scratch that microwave? Look what you just did to that microwave." Man, she was upset. She grabbed me into her bedroom, grabbed that belt, grabbed this leather belt here, and she said, "Lay across your stomach, lay on your stomach," and then pow, pow. I mean, why would you scratch that microwave? You know that's dangerous. That is dangerous. Why would you do that? You know better than that. I should scratch your microwave. Hit me. And then she whipped me, and I was screaming top of my lungs. Ah, ah, ah. Don't you ever scratch that microwave again. You hear me? So at that time, she made me sit in the room. I was on punishment, grounded, whatever you call. But I wasn't on there that long because I was 6 years old in the first grade. I was 6 years old at that time. Yeah, because I didn't know no better. Yeah, because it was in the 90s as well, too. So, so that's the story for that one. Next story is, this is a time maybe when I was 6 years old. I was 6 years old at that time. That, it was probably after New Year's of '92, I remembered. That I had a WizKid toy computer, right? I used a thumbtack and I tried to scratch the label off, and then my mom, she was like sitting right there in the kitchen, and then she caught me and said, "Pam, why would you do it? Give me that." She said, "Give me that computer and give me that belt." So, man, she gave me a belt, and then she was like sitting down. She said, "Get over here," and then pow. Why would you scratch that WizKid computer? Because I had that since I was when I was 5 years old in kindergarten, and I was in first grade going to second grade. She said, "Why would you do that? Don't you scratch that? Why would you scratch that? You know better than that. You scratching that keyboard. Don't you ever do that no more." You hear me? And my father said, "Look at this. He just tore that computer. He just scratched it. The keyboard. Don't you ever do it." And she said, "You are not going to play no Nintendo, no toys, no computer. Just sit there and read the book. You are going to be reading the book." Man, it was like I was on punishment for the I think a day or two, I remember. Man, I couldn't even play with no Super Mario Bros. Game on the Nintendo NES because I did all that. Man. Oh, man. Man, it says, it says read a book and stuff. So that wraps up on this particular whooping I had. Also, another worst whooping I have is, this is when I was down in Arkansas. This is when I was over at my grandmama's house. It was me and my cousin, Jamar, Curly. We were little kids, right? Because my grandmother, she has like a house. It's a very small house that has a living room, then the bedroom, small kitchen, and a bathroom. One of them small house. It's a country house, and it's connected right next door. I remember when I was a kid. I remember that Jamal was like throwing something around, and then he blamed it on me that I tipped my grandmother's lamp over. Man, My mama, she got so mad. You know, I was at my grandmama's house. You know, my mother's mom. Man, man, she was mad. I tore that lamp up. That I tipped the lamp over. This happens maybe I was 4 years. It has to be 4. I was like 4 years old at that time. So she, man, what she do? She grabbed that belt. She come near me and she go, pow, pow, pow. She says, why would you tip that much lamp over? Throwing something under the tip of that lamp over. Why would you do that? You tearing up people's stuff here. You're not at home. Don't you ever do that no more. You hear me? Hear me? Man, I was screaming. And then Jamal was laughing, saying, you know, I'm getting you next. And she told, you know, my mother, she told my cousin, Sam, that, I'm getting you next. Yeah, we were younger. I was screaming on top of my lungs because I didn't know at that time. Couldn't face up myself because I was 4 years old. I was too young at that time. I was screaming on top of my lungs. So she went in there, grabbed that belt again, and she whacked me. She said, move, Frida. Pow, pow. And she told me up big time. Pow, pow. How many times do I have to tell you, don't you do that no more? You're going to be young, you're going to be screaming, I'll give you something to cry for. They don't ever give you something. I already got something to cry for. Don't you ever do that no more. Hear me? Hear me? Pow, pow, pow. That was another dose. Second dose of the whooping. That's worst. That was worst whooping I had. Man. As well, too. Alright. Worst whooping. I miscount for the worst whooping. But there's a story. This is in somewhere in between 26 years ago. It has to be maybe when I was in the 2nd grade. 7 years old in the 2nd grade at the time. Man, because I slept on a couch. And then next thing I know, I fall asleep on the couch. And then next thing I know, I woke up in the bed. Because I didn't know what I was screaming and hollering on top of my lungs for no reason. My father came in and says, you won't be shutting up, huh? You're not going to, you yelling, you want to cry something, you want to yell something? Here, come on. So what he do is he grabbed that belt and go, pow, pow. Don't you ever, just a few whoopings. And then I was in the bed and then put me back in the bed. And that was a whooping. But a few minutes later, I was still screaming. And my mama came and said, you're not gonna stop that crying, huh? I said, no, you won't. She grabbed that belt and then she, pow, pow. I was jumping out of my bed. Jumping out like the Holy Ghost got me. She said, why would you do it? Gonna be yelling and stuff, huh? You want to sleep on the couch? She said, how many times have I told you? You're not gonna sleep on the couch. You sleep in your own bed. You hear me? And she said, let me find me a good belt. So she grabbed that brown leather belt. You know, one of my old leather belts when I was younger. You know, the belt that wouldn't fit. And then she picked that belt and she whipped me. I said, how many times do I have to tell you? You're not gonna sleep on the couch. And then also says, you're not gonna be picking up stuff off the floor. What would you? I told you not to. How many times I told you that? Ever do that? I said, you know what? I said, I'm tearing your butt up. Man, the whooping goes on and on and on. Like from that, for acting a fool in school while I was in the 2nd grade. And he says, you're going to like to give food away and stuff? I'm going to tell you, you know, give food away, huh? Because you don't like anything. I said, I guess you misbehaved at school. I said, no, I didn't. He said, yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Like, how would misbehave in school if it wasn't there or the teacher would call you? And would know. Because I knew I would have been getting it then. Man, I was screaming on top of my lungs. What you ever do you had cutting up in school here? Alright? So that's a whooping right there. And when I was in the 2nd grade. And this is when I was like almost going to 3rd grade, right? Because I was like blowing my nose on the Kleenex tissue. After I blow my nose, I walk out of the bedroom, my parents' bedroom, go in the kitchen. The eyes were on the stove because the heater was like not working at that time. So I stuck a napkin in the stove. I just dipped it and threw it in the garbage. And my father yelled, "Pah!" So he got up, man. He throw the water. He filled a cup. He throw the water to put out here and just put the sugar down. And I had to follow him because I knew I was going to get it right then. So I had to get that whipping over with. So he grabbed that belt and stuff. She said, start whipping me over. Start whipping me like just like that. And my mom said, give me the belt. She got bad, so she had to find another one because those are braided belt, but you need to find one of those leather belts. And she told me, lay on your stomach with your pants pulled down. And then I knew I was going to get it then. I mean, we're going to set the house on fire? Huh? You going to be setting the house on fire? You going to stuck a napkin on yourself and put in the garbage? Man, I got my butt toe up for almost set the house on fire. Man, and then next thing she know, she grabbed that electric cord, that extension cord, that brown extension cord, wrap around the wrist very, very tight, and got my butt whipped. That stuff hurts just like a whip. That extension cord, pow, pow. How many times I have to tell you, don't you do that no more? You hear me? Hear me? Don't you go set the house on fire? I said, you don't know, because I didn't even shed a tear, about that when I got whooped with a extension cord in the 2nd grade. Yeah, I didn't. And she said, no Nintendo. Man, I was on punishment. Yeah, I got put on punishment for that one. Grounded. Grounded, whatever you call. I was on punishment maybe a week for not playing, no Nintendo. So after that whooping was over, man, the skin was toe up until she had to put some alcohol on me. Put some kind of a Dr. Tussiner's, to cover up the whips, from the electric cord marks at that time, because we get whoopings. It's like we're from down south. That's what southern folks get whipping with, electric cord. When I was younger, that's the worst whooping. And then saying that thread again, I was whooping them. That's the worst, horrible whooping I had in the 2nd grade. All right, so that wraps up the 2nd grade. All right. Another worst whooping story we have is, this is when I was in the 3rd grade. Me and my cousin got into a fight, Curly. Got into a fight when we was up here, it was my grandmother and Curly was up here with my cousin. And I was like maybe, I think 8, 11. I was 8 years old and he was 11 years old. And I threw a plastic microphone over his head when he was trying to sleep, and told on it. That wench had told on him, make me want to have to hurt him even more. Well, my mama, she got so extremely upset, so she took me in the bedroom and she, grabbed that belt and she towed me up, big time. Like, why would you throw that on that? Because I threw that. It was a plastic, them echo microphones, the toy one. I threw it on and threw it on his head. I was glad I did that. Man, I would have get put on punishment. I was supposed to get put on punishment, but I was in a room unless I was supposed to get put on punishment. But man, after that whooping was over, because I didn't even shed a tear at the time until my mom left the room. Then I started crying. I was supposed to get put on punishment, but I didn't. Grounded, but they let me out. Yeah. And stuff. I didn't do that no more. Yep. So that was the worst whooping I had when I was younger. All right. Hey, folks. Also, there's another worst whooping I had. Well, this happens I was in the 3rd grade. I decided that I want to stick something in the vent, like broken crayons, rocks. Everything. It was one of those old vents, in the older house, and stuff. Man, my mama heard it. Man, she said, quit acting like you're 2 years old. Man, she tabbed my butt up for that. Grab that belt and pow. Why would you do that? Stick stuff in a vent. Because I thought it was just fun things to put stuff in a vent. Put stuff down in that vent. It was in my bedroom I did that. Man, she told me up for that. Then I got put on punishment. Then my father put me on, grounded me. I was on punishment. He said no cartoons. No cartoons, no Sega. And all because I got in trouble with some other stuff too. Yeah. So that's, punishment was almost like severe. It's like a week. Feel like week just feels like 100 years. Like, when you grown up and nothing to do. All right, that's wraps it up for this one. Worst whooping. Though this happens maybe it has to be when I was in the 4th grade. Is I put the ice in the mouth. From the one of the snow ice in the mouth. It was this day I remember. It was around Martin Luther King when kids were out of school. I put the ice in the mouth, and then my next door neighbor said, "Spit it out," because it was a clean ice. And then mom would say, "You're in trouble." So wait for me in the room. So anyway, I would sit there and just wait because I knew I was gonna get it then. And then she whipped me for that, for putting the ice in the mouth. That ice is real nasty. So it's like a door strap that she whipped me. She said, "Hold your hand out." And she go, "Pow, pow, pow, I'm gonna lie to me, huh? Pow, 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 pow." Man, got my butt toe up about that. So after that whooping was over, my father said, "No Sega games. No 13 Dennis Rice, no board games, whatever." So it was maybe 2 weeks of the punishment. Man, and then I had to learn about, the times tables too while I was on punishment. Man, grounded. Yep, grounded here. Alright, I'll tell you the next story here. Now this story here this is when I was in the 4th grade. It was like a month later, man. She thought I had an attitude problem, which I did, because I wasn't playing no game, no Sega game. After my mama told me to stay off of that Sega, and I did. I was playing something else at that time because I was like slip and fall. Man, I was running the house when I was younger. So what she do here? She was on the phone with some of her friends. I said, "Yeah." She said, "Hold on just a moment," and then she went in there. She grabbed that belt. She didn't whip me. She just showed it to me. Said, "Well, if I catch you running this house again here, I will whoop your ass, whoop your butt. You hear me?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am." But she didn't whoop me. So, anyway, the next day, because it was a snowstorm just like this. Yeah, it was a snowstorm. Kind of just like this. Back in '95. It's what happens. Because I was catching a cab to go to school at that time. It wasn't no school bus at the time. But, we was waiting in line for school, right? For a bus, I said, "Oh, man, I just feel like going to school, yada, yada. I don't want to do this and stuff." I want to say, "What? Why would you say that? Going to school, you need to learn to count and telling tables and division and stuff and count and stuff. And you go love home." I said, "You know what?" And she said, "You know what? No Nintendo, no Sega game. Don't look for no snacks, no toys, no nothing. When you get home, back on punishment. When you get home, I got my butt toe up. Man, I was on punishment at that time. It was around. It have to be around, around '95 at first. February 1995. 9 years. I was 9. And then I remember I was disrespectful. And then she grabbed that door strap and she tore me up. I snatched my hand away from her after that whooping. Snatched it. I'm going to snatch it. I'm like, "What must I say? What you ever gonna do this right there?" So you get home, you gonna fold his clothes up and throw up everything. And she said, "No Nintendo, no Sega. No Sega, no game. What's that? No videotape and stuff. No nothing." But yeah, I could still watch TV, but I was on punishment for 2 weeks again. So that's the worst whooping I had. Yep. That lion, worst whooping I had. Well, lion was in the 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, and 7th grade. And I remember that was the last whooping I had before I go into the 8th grade. Before I turned 8th grade. Yeah, I remember the last whooping I had. And I just started getting put on punishment for being disrespect and also. So let's wrap it up, okay? Because this completes the story of worst whooping I had when I was younger and stuff. So If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and smash that bell. Until next time, if I think of something that what else I got a worse whooping for, alright? Talk to you later. Bye.